of being so confused. You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree. Stop.
How many Groiper boys do we think we get tonight? How many of those little neo-Nazi fucktards are we going to get?
Boys?
The soy boys? How many soy boys does anyone... does anyone want to make a prediction? I say we're going to get 4. 4 soy boys. Does anyone want to...
I wonder if douchebag from the other day is going to...
No, he got banned.
Good.
So he got banned.
We need a couple. Every time I'm on, we at least need a few.
I think it makes the day go faster. It makes the days a little brighter. When I'm with you, even the nights are better. Mike doesn't believe I'm gay, but I'm going to sell him. I just realized we need to put Mike in the intro. Do you know how many times I've remade this damn thing? Do you know how difficult it is to remake this thing? My Lord.
Hey, Hog Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at The Dumb Show and his website, don'tunfriendme.com.
Yeah.
Good morning, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. What are we?
It's Red Friday. RED Friday, which stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. A movement designed to honor veterans and deployed U.S. troops by wearing a red shirt every Friday.
Whoops.
As simple as that may be, Red Friday is a great way to back those who serve our country. Go to dumbshow.com and search for Red Friday to get your red on.
What? Well, here's the thing, is that I want to be transparent. Did you like that intro? Was it pretty? Did you like that, Mike? I heard you chuckle.
Oh, no, it was good. I definitely like it.
Okay, good. So here's the thing. You guys might be noticing a few things. One is that everybody looks different. And everything looks different. This is, here, we'll just do this right, just so everyone feels good. This is what proper lighting looks like for a podcast. And I've always wanted to do it. And I never had the funds to add rim lights and accent lights, but it makes a big difference. It makes you look proportionate. You don't look like a frumpy bastard sitting in your chair. And we made sure that we got Olivia, her light coming, and we got Mike dialed in. Mike's actually out in the living room, so he's out there. And we took my secondary camera and got him all pumped up. So everybody's good. So we've got, we got to decide if we're putting Mike in his own place and giving him a backdrop and all that, or if we're just going to go ahead and do it all together. We don't know. We'll figure it out. But anyway, so this is what I look like normally, but you don't get that unless you have depth. And now the backdrop is behind me and I'm up front. Same thing with Olivia. If you look at her, she's, look at just in all her beauty and grace. What was that line in Scary Movie? She's the one with perfect tits.
Oh,
she's the grace. And that's anyway. So you look good, and everybody looks good. And Mike, of course, he's got my super lens with my super camera and my super freaking. What room is this? The mud room? What? No, it's not a mud room. What is it?
It's like, well, he's sitting in the formal dining room. And it's looking out into, I guess, the family room?
Maybe.
Is what you would say. The piano's there. And
it's the figurines room. Wait, what side is it? All these guys over here.
My desk is there. And
it's something. It doesn't matter. But we're gonna have a good show tonight. And also, you're gonna notice a little bit of a different way that we're gonna actually see you. is you're going to see us in 3 quadrants. And obviously when Mike talks or Olivia talks or I talk, we'll try to zoom into them. And then we're going to try to not do as many transitions. So we're the focal point. You're going to have the scroller down below, and then we'll bring in audio and video content and things to that effect. So we're just going to try to make it a little bit more fluid. Also, if Leroy and Amy come, it'll go to a 4-quadrant panel, real simple. And then it will move to a 5-quadrant panel. And that's really cool how that works out, because it kind of staggers all the videos. So this program's fantastic, and we're learning some things. Mike is here. Mike was here in the morning. Mike, what did you think of your first day on the Don't Unfriend Me show?
The first day, I mean, it was a little intense. It was our dialogue. I thought was amazing.
Corps. You're in the Marine Corps. How can it be intense when we're talking about IEDs and shit, and you're like, it's so intense. It was like, okay, go ahead.
It is it was amazing when you allowed the trolls to come in and see that play out. That was an experience.
Yeah, I hope we get them back. We're getting a little bit of creak and some pops in your connection, and I think I know what it is, and we'll fix it tomorrow. Or the next show is that it's an older MacBook, and I think it's going through USB. We need to have it go through USB-C. And
do we need to switch it to your MacBook?
I can't. There's just not enough time.
Well, not now, but for next time.
Oh yeah, it will be
a much newer computer.
Oh yeah, it's got an M1 processor in it. I mean, it's freaking, that thing will smoke. It's like my iMac. So yeah, we'll get it swapped out. So we're going to be a fun show tonight. The morning show is awesome. What was your, like, when you first started, were you nervous when you first came on, or did you feel pretty comfortable?
No, it was pretty comfortable, because I mean, we obviously were talking for a while beforehand and just kind of set the scene up. So no, it wasn't bad at all.
Okay, so Mike, this is what I'm going to have you do. You can close your laptop a little bit, not all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Reach over in the back and hold that red button, and it's going to say, "Do you want to reset?" Hit yes, and reset your Rodecaster box. Can you do that for me? Okay. So you're just going to close your screen, and you're going to reach to that big processor behind you.
Yep.
And you're just going to reach behind there, and there's a red button. You'll feel it. It's a rubber button.
The phantom power?
No, negative. No, you're going to reach behind where all the cables are, and it's all the way to the right, and there's a red button. You'll feel it.
We need to call the child.
It's very similar to the clitoris. Have you ever found it?
The hardest thing to find.
Liv, do you want to help him?
Yeah.
Do you know where it's at?
I don't know.
Do I want to shut it down?
Yeah, he got it. Yep, hit shut down. And then you're going to go dark for a second, and then make sure you power it back. Then you're going to, once it shuts down, you want to power it back on. Sorry, guys. We're going to see if we can fix this. Mike, it'll take, can you hear me, Mike?
Yep, I got it.
It'll take a second, buddy.
Okay, I got you back up.
Okay, give me a Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Mary had a little lamb. Can you hear me yet?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. And you're a little bit laggy. Go ahead and shut down and dial in one more time. So you're going to close the screen and then dial back, or, just it can disconnect and then call right back in. Okay. We're going to get this all worked out. You know what we need to do? It's pretty simple. I just need to get a 50-foot XLR and a 50-foot USB. Did we win?
Jose just launched a 3-run homer to put us up in the 9th inning.
Are you kidding me?
But in the 9th, they still have the bottom.
I don't care if they have the bottom. What did I say? Hey, Mike. What did I say about the Houston?
The game.
What did I say about the Houston Astros in the 9th? What did I say was going to happen? Do you remember?
That they're going to come back. You want your home run, you want your single, and you want something else.
Yeah, they wound up getting a 3-run homer. I'll take that instead. Fubo, hold on, folks. Houston Astros are playing. Olivia and I usually don't care, but we've got to get this. We got to get this going
I got
on.
it on my phone.
What's that?
I have it on my phone.
Well,
I just had a bench clearing brawl too.
See in the Stros, they'll play nice, but now what's the address, Liv? Just
my email.
Okay, that's it. Hold on, folks. We got to find out what's going on here. I got to see this. Oh, I can't believe the Stros came back. That's so sexy.
I noticed none of us are wearing red today.
You know what?
Well, Mike has never been on a show on Friday, so he doesn't know.
It's not his fault.
No, we'll have to order him
some
shirts.
red on here. There is a little bit, but it's not a full red shirt.
I had a red shirt on. I wore it to work today, but you walked into my home wearing a Stanley Cup champions.
Here's 0-2. There's a chase and strike three.
Caps. So I had to represent the Avs. So
Okay, hold
The
on.
amount
I
of
gotta get this
disrespect,
up.
I realize.
Everyone be
I'm waiting
patient.
for
We're
the-
going to get you all set up, but it is baseball season, and we are Astros fans. And I got to watch this real quick. We're going to listen here. I don't care if it's available in 4K. Play it.
Mike, when the Avs and the Caps play this year, we gotta have you and the wifey over, unless she doesn't care about hockey.
Oh no, she'll definitely show up for that one. We'll have to.
We should just go
we'll
down
be
to a
decked out.
game.
Oh, we should go. That would be. Are we playing there this year though? I
With-
don't know. If
we would.
it's-
We don't do home. We play twice every year. We play every team twice.
Okay.
So
That could have easily been thrown to the outfield in the position he was in.
this is the.
That's the bottom of the eighth.
Yeah, I know. I'm going right now. Watch
I
live.
mean, he's in to anticipate play, keeps the double play in order.
Got to find out what's going on.
He's really got nothing but throwing to second. Great play, keeps the double play in order.
Why won't I want to go live?
First and third.
Any idea,
Here's
baby?
Young.
No. Maybe four. Just four. I don't know.
Oh, here's Presley. No, that's the 8th.
Rangers hunting
Ooh,
insurance
they brought
here,
Presley
leading
in on
by
the
2.
8th.
Who's gonna pitch? for
Great
them
speed
now?
on the
I don't know.
bases. Carter at third, Jankowski.
All right, so we're up by
Tavares
one
at
run in
first.
bottom of the
0-2
ninth.
to Young.
All right, well, I'm going to punch out because we got a show to do, and everyone's going to get mad at me and get all grumpy, and we don't want that.
I'll just keep you posted. It's on my
Yeah,
phone.
folks, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We're sorry we had to we had to do this. Thanks, 125 people on watching the Astros with us. Thank you so much.
I already have a question on Rumble for you and Michael.
All right, let's do Michael. Let's give him a question because he's needy.
Okay, so Uncle Stumpy, one of our Rumble faithful,
Listeners.
yes, wants to know if either of you have had any experience or opinions on Delta guys.
Oh, I know
A
Mike's
little more
got, I know
specific
Mike's
on
got
that.
something to say. Delta Force. Yeah, could you be more specific first? No.
So I will say they are hands down some of the most professional, badass, and fun people to drink with. So it's one of those, if you're going for something that needs to get done, no matter where it is, I would go for them over SEALs any day of the week. Sorry, Matt.
Oh, that's fine.
But hands down, great to drink with, great dudes. So I personally love them. If you're referring to the video or the photo that the Biden administration put out,
We'll talk about
doxing a
that.
bunch of them. Yeah, that's a whole.
We're going to
other
talk
thing.
about. We're going to talk about that for sure. And yes, we've got something to say. My experience with Delta, the unit, or any of the other wonderful names that they go by. It's funny. First time I met team guys, the first team guy I met was Master Chief Rizzo, and he was talking to us for about 30 minutes on stage in A school. Oh, God, left it up the middle. It's all right. It's only a single. And went ahead and he was talking to us, and this guy's solid out. He's Purple Heart, DSC, Distinguished Service Cross, and oak leaf clusters up to the ass. The guy's seen some stuff. And he was talking about active SEAL and blah, blah, blah. And I was looking at him like, God, this guy's a little older. What the hell? He looks old. I'm 45 at that point. But when you're 21, that looks old. And he just all of a sudden stopped. And he starts talking about why he goes and talks to people. And he's like, well, the reason why we go out and talk to people, especially me, and then he stops and he fucking rolls up his pants and he's got a prosthetic limb. And like you could hear the proverbial pin drop. Everybody was like, what the? No way. This guy's an active SEAL. He qualifies every single year. He gets through PT. He gets through all of his training. Every 4 to 5, he jumps, he dives, he does his small arms. He gets all of his qualifications and requals, and you're immediately impressed. Okay, so then the second time I met team guys was in another location where they were in country for, 6, 7, 8 months and rotating over, 2 or 3 years, 12 years. Strohs, what are you doing? All right. So, and then these guys are all wraparound sunglasses, polos, but the hair is longer, unshaven, beards, and they look like they look like essentially Mike and I, more Mike. I'm a little more kempt than Mike is, but I have a little more pride in myself. So Navy people have standards. So we go. So that was like my second impression, and I'm like, oh my God, these guys are kind of shitbags, dude. They're and then of course 6 months, 3 months, whatever long, we all follow suit, and everybody kind of gets in country and has the deployed look, and you get certain liberties working with some very badass people. Then I met Delta guys for the first time, and holy shit, the only way I can compare Delta guys and team guys is they're freaking hippies. Like, these guys are really in country. Like, these guys look like the enemy. I mean, they get into blending in. I mean, hats backwards, ponytail through a baseball cap, just freaking beard, not ZZ Top, but a good full size beard. So it's just that was my first impression. Now, I agree with Mike. Some of the nicest low key, high speed, low drag guys you've ever met. And I agree when people go, well, Force Recon versus SEALs. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. But when you talk about Delta, he's right. I mean, Delta guys are shit hot, and they are elite of elite. Now, their AORs and their jobs are different. So if you want to talk about going on a rig or going and swimming 5.5 miles, yeah, Delta guys can swim and so can Recon, but they ain't going to do it as well as SEALs. And you get a SEAL in the water, he's going to take you down and he's going to drown your ass. And I don't care if you're Delta or Force Recon. I don't care if you're MARSOC. It's a different element. But if you want to go ahead and do CQC, you know what? I think Delta guys are pretty dialed in and shit hot. So you want to talk about creep and peep? Force Recon has that capability. So I think each one has their specialty. They're all cut from the same cloth. They are all alpha males, and they don't like to lose. And that's my experience with special forces and soft guys. Cool. Let's talk about the picture heard around the world.
I haven't seen it.
2 outs.
And
he held on second.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. So now you see a little grounder to third and cut it across to first, or fielder's choice. Okay. So Mike, since you got to hear about this, or you kind of brought the question up first, I'll pull up the picture while you talk. Would love to hear what you think about Joe Biden. And the second time that Joe Biden has done this, the first time they did it with Osama bin Laden, and he leaked that it was actually SEAL Team 6. Now, he did not leak their personalities and who they were, but he did out the fact that the team guys were involved, which puts a target on every SEAL, current or former or future, which is a pretty dangerous thing. But what were your thoughts on this, Mike?
So this is one of those, it's another representation of how lackluster this administration is on any kind of OPSEC. For me, it's one of those, if they are meeting with those type of operators, there should never be a freaking camera anywhere near them. If there is, then that photo should be held extremely tightly to where there's only a couple people who even have access to it. Because I'm sure it's some White House intern that actually got this photo and then uploaded it. And I don't remember the actual caption for it, but I thought it was something like the first responders that showed up to Israel. I forget the exact caption on it, but it's one of those of they clearly put the wrong photo on there, but the fact that you're putting the faces out, there's ways that other countries can now figure out who these guys are, where they've been to. So you just outed one of the top teams that you can't replace these guys. So now you just put a target on them, their families, and anyone else. So like this is absolutely inexcusable. And I don't know, as soon as this came out, there should have been people fired over this. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
So that was a special forces group, and
it was Delta Force,
and Biden was shaking, and he put out that picture.
Now Joe Biden didn't download the picture and upload it to Shutterfly, and then
it was put out without blacking out their faces and any identifying marks like tattoos or anything.
Well, that's the thing I was just going to tell you. So here's the problem is, and the media hasn't caught on with this, but Mike and I absolutely will. So the first photo they blacked out. They didn't black out anything. They put them up full joy, full side profile, which is enough to run them through any database or run them through any basic records and identify who they are with any type of AI photo program. I mean, I backtrace photos all day long, and I can find people who come on, and that's how I get most people who, yep, good job. Dude, that's exactly how I want you to talk to my kids, just like that. Good job, Mike. Your family. So,
throw a leg at them.
Yeah, just if you want to punish them, go ahead. So it's that's basically where I'm coming from in this whole thing is that you can find people.
Look at
They just went.
freaking pumped. Where's E?
Dude, you see Verlander? He's like, let's fucking go. He just did it. He's like, let's fucking go.
Where's E?
Dude, Ethan. Hold on, folks. Sorry, we're excited. We're a Stroh's family here. Dude, where are you, man? They just came back.
I'm still gonna.
It's okay. They came back. Stroh's won.
Back. Jose Altuve got a 3-run homer in the ninth, and we just won.
We got to go watch it because there was a bench clearing brawl. I guess there was a big fight. Okay.
Hey, high five.
Jump
Dude.
out. High five. And then get out. High five your mom,
Love
get out.
you.
All right. So, sorry, folks. There won't be any more interruptions. It's just an exciting night here at Spear Household. It's almost like the Avs are 4-0 also. Anyway, so
Where are the Caps?
did they have they even played? Do they have a team still?
That's
right.
We got our one Stanley Cup.
Yep.
We're good for 30 years. Now a normal DC team. We're going to lose our ass. And
Crap my pantsatols. Yeah, the Washington crap my pants because they're now all in diapers because they're so old.
I have to root for Ovechkin, though. I really want him to break the record.
But that's in like 3 years.
He just went 2 games with no shots on goal. So that's not good. So Ovi's slowing down. 2 games with no shots on goal. That's not. I think the last time Ovechkin hasn't had a shot on goal, he was in high pants. So that guy averages 7-8 shots on goal. He's not Nathan McKinnon, but he's amazing. And I want him to break Gretzky's because I think Gretzky is an ostentatious dick. So anyway, all right. So you could put any of these photos in software. I do it all the time. I track people down who black are, try to, black op me and threaten my family or whatever. Is a few of the soy boys I've already tracked down and I know who they are. I know, and they're stupid. They go, oh, this guy's a low time podcast. They have no idea what I do, who I am, and you don't threaten my family. So I already got 3 texts about raping my daughter, and this is what these guys do. And Amy got to see it on YouTube and some crazy shit. And this is what these guys do. And it is what it is. But
one of them earned the ire of me yesterday.
Yeah, they did. And we'll play that.
Did you cut it to a small video?
I haven't. I haven't put it up yet because I had to bleep the whole thing. You can't hear what you say. So anyway, to get to the point, Delta guys, if you look at this picture, the first picture that came out, there was absolutely no cutting of faces or blacking of faces out, okay, at all. But here's the problem: the second altered photo, they are the first altered photo. They blacked out their faces, but
not the tattoos.
They didn't do the tattoos. And dude, do you see this? This is all posthumous from service, man. As Intel guys, you don't get tattoos. You don't get any distinguishing marks. You don't get anything that can discern. Now, there's people who do it, but if you look at most Intel guys, they're not tatted up. They wait till out of the service. They do nothing to distinguish themselves or anybody because you never know when you're going to be in country. And dude, I've been approached by ex-KGB guys. I've been approached by foreign intelligence. It happens. It happens all the time, especially when you're doing field work. So the fact that he did the tattoos, but now you're blacking it out, you should have ghosted that. And trust me, the United States government has the ability to make sure a photograph is off the internet forever. And the fact that you can still find it and find the original, it really pisses me off. So, I don't know what else to say. It's just a typical Biden administration, right? I mean, I don't know what else to say. What about you, Liv? What do you think?
I think it's totally wrong. They're special forces. I mean, they black everything out. Someone definitely messed up.
Why is he taking photos anyway? Why is he taking photos?
Photo. He wants a photo op. He wants to be cool.
Yeah, but first of all, the question that, it's also about being a quiet professional. These guys are quiet professionals. They don't want their photos taken. And if they do slap a photo, I don't have one picture with any team guys or any Delta guys or any Mossad guys that don't have, like, one person has a face with a Sharpie crossed out, other one has a key that crosses it out. And literally, like, the photos that you used to get, because they weren't digital, you would print them out, is like half the guys would scratch out their face because they were still active, or you just did that because you knew they were still active, and they don't want their faces shared. And if you got one of your buddies that doesn't want his face shared, you don't put it out there. It's just stupid. It's just, there's unwritten code. You don't go write a book. You don't go write a movie, right? You don't go ahead and rat out a brother in arms. Well, yeah, it used to be a
tactical
code.
writing course. I'm sure they got that in there now.
Yeah, most of them have contracts, but it just comes down to, there's some things you don't do. And just because you weren't a team guy, just because you weren't in special forces, doesn't mean that you didn't work with them. And if you did, you learned the tricks of the trade, and you learned right quick. If you screwed up or you stepped out of line, they let you know. Feedback is not something that is in rare commodity when you work with guys who literally live on a razor's edge and put their life on the line like that. So Biden knows better, but he thinks his son died in Iraq. So, I mean, what do you expect him to do? So
he also doesn't think his other son's a drug addict, though.
Well, former drug addict.
He's all innocent.
Former drug addict.
Because Hunter can do no wrong.
But he can sell art like no other.
Oh, he's got some beautiful artwork.
So true.
I mean, just incredible quality artwork.
So true.
I want the first video is I'm not going to put our reaction up. We're going to kind of watch it with you, and this is what I want to start doing. Is instead of having Olivia and I had a conversation, we're going to bring Mike, Olivia, Leroy, Amy all together, and I can announce now that we are actually being picked up and syndicated by Spreely TV. Spreely TV is a conservative channel. Terry is the owner. Dominic Izzo introduced me. Dom, yes, I talked about you on the show, and he's just a great guy and very, very straightforward and direct. Worse than me. I mean, he is the Andrew Dice Clay of the conservative world, and I don't even know if he would consider himself a conservative. He's a constitutionalist. He's a former cop. He's a good dude. But anyway, Spreely TV's picking us up. We'll be a part of their entire network. It'll be on Apple TV. It'll be on Roku and also Fire Stick. So you can just download the app on your phone and get all the shows. You don't have to go into Facebook anymore. The chat will be there. Nothing's changing. I've talked to Terry. My show is my show, and our show is our show, and we write it, and we discuss what we want, when we want, how we want. And that's been an agreement, and he likes the quality and the content. And, you guys get to decide where you want to watch. I get to keep, the profits that come from Facebook and everything else. And then there's a whole new revenue stream from Spreely TV. So you damn Skippy, I'm going to be pushing it and talking about it. And it's going to be no more necessarily ads for, really anybody else. It's going to be Spreely TV. And what's great is that Spreely also will have affiliates come on. Advertisers come on who've, are veterans or veteran-based companies, and they'll have other conservative hosts come on. It gives us the ability to go to different conventions and different conferences, so we can all go on a trip and interview people. It just opens up the doors, and it's the start, and I'm really excited about doing it.
So how does it work? Is it just another channel that we live stream to?
Yeah, I'm really excited that you're asking, because we haven't had a chance to talk about it.
No,
because
we haven't. I've been working all week.
It's
we haven't
been
talked
nuts.
about anything.
And everybody wants to know, and Mike wants to know too. So essentially all it will do is I will add an RMTP in this, very similar to how I stream to Rumble. Rumble doesn't work like Facebook and Twitter, where I just put in the parameters of what the show is going to be about, and then it auto-populates and posts. I've got to physically go in and get a code each time I do it on Rumble. Well, this will just directly go to Spreely TV. I will have a schedule set, and I'll have a specific time that I'm on. So like Mike and I will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're on at 8:00. And then I will have a scheduled release for the show. And you'll be able to see an entire lineup, like a movie channel guide or a cable channel guide of who's coming on and where. and then it automatically streams to the front page of Spreely when we're on.
Do we have to have like a set time, like we can only do an hour show, or?
No, that's the cool thing is that if your show, you can go like, if your show's slotted for an hour, but most of them are 2 hours. I don't think we're going to go over that. But if we do, it'll just be bonus time. And we would tell our people, hey, we're dropping off Spreely TV. If you want to come over and keep following the show, come over to Twitter, come over to Facebook, Rumble, etc.
Got it.
This allows for ad revenue for everybody. Everyone can go to Spreely and sign up. And then if they help distribute the show and share it, they give a special link, and then you guys get paid for it. And every time somebody clicks on that link and goes to the show and watches it, you get money from Spreely TV. So you all can become affiliates and help spread the show. It's a very, I would not be going on board unless I absolutely felt comfortable. The fact that Terry is more like spit in the hand and shake hands type of guy. He didn't lock me down to a contract for 3 years making whatever. The fact that, you know, I can't go into what he pays, but I will tell you it's definitely on our side more than it's his. He takes a very small amount for this. I was shocked when I heard it because it's just incredible.
I don't even know yet. We haven't talked about it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to breach that.
Well,
but,
yeah, no, I want to talk to you about it.
But
so.
There's full apps, full everything. There's a whole new line of apps coming out, which Android will have, but Apple's coming out too. And then it also goes to those 3 platform service.
It be downloaded to a PC?
Yeah, it can be PC, computer, everything. Go to Spreely.tv. You can go there right now. And so I'll show you real quick and put this up. I didn't want this to be a big advertisement for this, but you know, I figured we can just show you right now. So, you know, you can go to Spreely Video, and, you know, of course, you're going to have pop-ups and commercials. But you can see they've got news. You've got Dominic Izzo's show right here, and you've got all the shows and news going on. And if you want to come down here, like the Patriot Barbie's on here. A lot of people know who she is. We got to get her on the show immediately, Mike. The Patriot Barbie, her. Look over to your left. Yeah, so she's got tattoos. But you can go see, you know, you go to Rizzo's show. Joe Messina's on there. Rochi Stucci. The Right Side is on there, which is it was on Fox tonight. So you've got, you know, quite a few shows, and we will do the same. Now, when you go to Spreely.tv, the network is huge. You can see it's well done. It's well laid out. You can see where it streams, video on demand, news options. It tells you how to watch and how to get it on there. You can watch live right now and see who's on. And there'll be times when we are on. Show schedules all right here. So you'll be able to see when we're coming on. And we probably are going to add a weekend show. It's all right here. So it's an exciting thing. I know I'm excited about it. And a lot of people, it's brand new. So it's they're doing pretty well. They've got some really good shows. And this is my first step in, you know, getting out there. So I think it's time, and I think we've got some decent products. So let's get to it. 150, we have over 200 with Rumble, so that's good to see.
Yeah, Rumble's at 40.
Good to see so many people on. So let's get to it. Yeah, it is an app on Roku. A lot of people have heard some of the conservatives, but a lot of people are just coming into it, right? This is, I think I'll be the first person to come to Spreely when Tara and I were talking that hadn't been demonetized. And a lot of these guys are like, dude, I lost Facebook revenue. I lost YouTube revenue, and I'm still intact, and I've been intact for quite a long time. So I'm not going in there with my hand out. I'm going to him saying, listen, I want to bring you viewers. I want to bring you my marketing set and bring you my viewers. And then I want the same thing. I want to have Dominic on, and I want to have, you know, the rest of the right side on and stuff like that, and start cross-pollinating. And it seems like a really awesome opportunity for us.
Can you put up the main page again? Some people want to screenshot it.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't we just put it in chat? It's Spreely.tv. So it's funny. It's my name spelt a little bit differently.
Oh, I never even made that connection.
Yeah, so it's Spear, but it's Spreely.tv. I just put it in there for you. And you guys can find it. You can go, like I said, go to your phone, go to your Apple TV, get in. I'm going to probably be on there in the next couple of weeks. I got to build it up. You guys know how I am. I want to make my page look good. I want it to make brand. And then the clothing line store will be on there too. Everything goes on there. So it's cool. It's really cool. So I'm excited and I'm glad to share it with you. So we're making some changes now. We want us to be bigger and forefront. We don't want a lot of flash. So bam, we're all three next to each other. When we do the videos, we want to have you watch it without having us talk. And although that's a good thing when we're streaming stuff that's copyrighted or on Fox currently playing, we don't have to do that with our videos anymore. So we'll start off by just doing that and showing you a great cut of 3 minutes just to talk about the disinformation going on with Israel and Hamas. And then we'll all come back and have a conversation.
But there is a great opportunity for disinformation, especially on social media. I caution you to be very careful about what you choose to believe and on what basis. The horrific scene at a hospital in Gaza today, an explosion that killed more than 500 people.
The government in Gaza says the Israeli Defense Forces struck a hospital in the center of Gaza City.
An airstrike hit a Gaza City hospital, killing at least 500 people.
It's because of an alleged Israeli airstrike on a hospital in Gaza that Hamas health officials say killed more than 500 people.
And when you're talking about 500 people, you have to wonder how many of those people are innocent civilians.
At minimum, hundreds of people have been killed in what they say was an Israeli airstrike,
where a hospital was caved in, killing hundreds and stranding an untold number under the concrete.
By far, the deadliest Israeli airstrike ever.
Hundreds taking shelter at a Gaza City hospital were killed in an Israeli airstrike today. Israel says it was targeting Hamas hideouts.
Palestinian officials saying at least 500 people killed in what they claim was an Israeli airstrike.
Aftermath of an alleged airstrike on a Gaza hospital that killed more than 500 people.
An Israeli missile struck the hospital. Absolutely horrific loss of life.
This is not the first time violence has actually hit what's supposed to be, obviously, a place of healing.
Folks, I'm not going to leave you high and dry. I promise you nothing's changing. We're just expanding and growing, and you're not going to be left behind.
Do we have some worried people?
Yeah, people are like, I don't know how to download it. Do I have to pay money? Relax. I will always be free. I will never charge for my show. I'm never going to do that to you. I'm never going to put it behind a paywall. I don't believe in that crap. So relax. When it's time to let you all know how to get there, you can personally call me and I'll walk you through it. Okay. I worked for Apple for 5 years. I know the Android system. I know your computer systems, and I did customer service most of my life. Nobody's getting left behind. Everyone just breathe it out. Here we go.
Explosion at a hospital in Gaza. Palestinian officials say hundreds were killed, and they're blaming Israel.
This was not a blast. This was not an explosion. This was an airstrike. It was a deliberate war crime that Israel conducted on this hospital.
At least 200 to 300 people killed in that strike, and many, many, many more feared dead. Now, Hamas is calling this a genocide.
200 to 300 people believed to be dead at this stage. There are also many examples of, of civilian deaths caused directly by Israel. There's no doubt about it.
In the fog of war, what can we say for sure?
The Baptist Hospital in Gaza City, that's the northern half of Gaza, has taken a direct hit from an Israeli airstrike. They are saying at minimum, 300 people are dead.
Egypt is saying it's very upset about this hospital bombing. The World Health Organization has strongly condemned the attack.
How about don't bomb the hospitals?
How about you? Well, you just admitted that you did bomb the hospital.
Today, the death toll rose significantly in a horrific attack in Gaza. 200 to 300 people were killed.
The Palestinians are talking about 500 dead. Initially, they talked about 200 or 300. Later, up that number to 500. It is unlikely that a rocket, a crude rocket fired by a Palestinian group, could cause that number of casualties.
Hard to see how that would have been a misfired rocket.
This kind of death toll is not what you normally associate with Palestinian rockets. These rockets are dangerous. They are deadly. They do not tend to kill hundreds of people. And we should say finally that there are instances in the past where the Israeli military has said things in the immediate aftermath of an incident that have turned out not to be true in the long run.
Quote, a mind from hell is the one who deliberately bombs a hospital.
This is in response to the strike at the hospital.
This is a new level in terms of the fact that it was a hospital and the fact that so many people were killed.
What is your understanding of what happened in this hospital?
It's one of those situations where, as I look at the two of you, Nicole, Rachel, sitting where you are at the studio, you do understand that what we've just been amplifying is what the Hamas have said. Hamas claimed that Israel...
Liv, listen, you know me well enough that, and Mike's learning, even with the Astros, I'm like, the ninth is theirs. They're going to come back. And it wasn't a single and a double knock from second, 2 runs scored from first and second. It was just a 3-run knock, but it doesn't matter. Jose Altuve made it happen. But with the news is the same way, is that I came on 24 hours. I told you, well, you know what? You were here. Why don't you tell us? I mean, walk us through that when we were kind of hanging out that night. And then I told you what? Do you remember? About when we came on, when it came to the bombing of the hospital.
I don't remember exactly what you said. I know you said you
Wow,
didn't.
what a setup.
I know.
So I feel so, you see guys, this is what I was trying to, look at, see?
I'm trying to think.
Hold on a second. That's what I do. See? Look at that endorsement. Totally.
I don't remember exactly what you said. This
No,
week
we
has
said,
been a whole
no,
blur.
it was just a matter of we have to go on because there's information that's coming out that's wrong. And we have to go and tell them what's really happening. And I broke my 24-hour rule. I always wait and I always assess and get all the information. But I knew based upon my experience what a bomb of that size and magnitude can do and what it does look like, and knew right away based upon the damage and the damage I saw. You remember when I saw the picture, I said, that doesn't look like a building. That looks like a parking lot. Why, how the hell did they hit a parking lot? And what's all the residual fire? Because anyone who's been in a bomb and has seen a GBU or a gravity bomb or a laser guided bomb or a GBU unit or an IISI or IISG kit on a GBU, which then makes it essentially a guided bomb, an extremely high accurate target guided bomb, is that most residual fires happen way out in the exterior of the bomb because anything that bomb comes in contact with is obliterated. Your thoughts, Liv, your thoughts, Mike. You got a chance to see the video based upon both seeing the video I did and kind of comparing notes. What are your thoughts on this? Liv, you go first.
Well, the one thing that I took from that video was only a mind from hell would bomb a hospital. Only a mind from hell would go door to door and take people and rape them and kill them and behead 40 babies and then burn their bodies and do what they did to people. And the Israelis didn't even do it. And it pisses me off that the mainstream media it's not even media, it's mainstream propaganda now. That's what it is. They're not a media source, they're a propaganda source, and they only report what their opinions are, not the actual news. And I'm so frustrated that they are spewing that Israel is evil and that they are definitely siding with Palestine, and Palestine is innocent in this, and Palestine's doing nothing, and all they're doing is defending themselves. It's a bunch of bullshit, and they need to be held accountable. If Trump has to be held accountable for January 6th and inciting a riot, well, then they need to, because everything they are saying publicly, people are believing it. And there's been anti-Jew and anti-Israeli riots and demonstrations and threats, and it's ridiculous. And the media needs to be held accountable. It just pisses me off.
I think it's pretty clear how you feel about it. Like Mike, obviously, I want you to be able to share your feelings, but one of the things that I immediately think of is you and I, in our jobs and our capacity, utilize the media to get kind of early bird type information and use it. Have they ever gotten any unit you've been with, any team you've been with in trouble based upon information they put out? Any examples of that, or talk about anything you want? I figured I would just ask you.
So I wouldn't say get in trouble. We more use that as a tipper to go in and actually start looking. And I think we've all kind of learned the media is going to put whatever they want out. Maybe 5% of the time they're actually going to be accurate. So it's more of just, hey, something happened. Now we need to get in and start figuring it out. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I hate to say it, but Like the mainstream media, most of what's put out on there is crap. If you really want to find out what's happening, go to Twitter, go to Facebook, just see what normal people are actually posting. That's probably going to be more reliable than what you're going to get from the mainstream media at this point.
Right. Like one of the sites that you and I use regularly. It's so funny. The other day I literally just go to a site and then you said what?
It's UA
don't
Live.
be Olivia. What? Say it again.
UA Live.
Yeah. So like immediately just he couldn't see, he just saw in the corner of his eye. And so you find most people who are in the military use it. And it's UA Live is one of my sources that I use all the time because it's fresh information. It's unadulterated. It's from the ground level. It's civilian source. It's, civilian journalist type stuff and eyewitness news basically. But the only problem is you have to be careful. But once you get that kind of that fox and the hound type thing and you catch the scent, so to speak, you have to go and hunt down the truth and identify it. And if you don't, then you're going to look like a fool. At this point, like if I was to ask both of you, what level of trust do you have for the media, if at all?
0.
Absolutely none.
Yeah, me either. 0.
I get my news from Facebook. Honestly, my main news source is you. If I want to know anything, I just ask you.
Yeah, but I feel the same way. Like I don't trust anyone on cable news. There's just nobody. I go, yep. And it's all independent. It's all third party. It's all off the flash and the wire. And if you don't have $50 to go get your own press credentials, do it. And you can go and get the wire, and you can get the same thing on UA Live that we're talking about, and not only identify hotspots all over the world, but there's other places. And I've told you, All Sides Balance is a great place. But you guys need to understand something is, like, I'm going to show you something that's going to really piss you off. This is a tweet that was from, obviously, Twitter. And these are liberal talking points. Thanks, honey, for my medicine. Hold on a second. I'm going to take my drugs. So these are talking points that came through, and this is from like political PR. President Biden is the leader America needs in this moment.
What is she smoking?
Sue Shatuk says, President Biden is the leader of America needs in this moment. Grateful that he's in office. Aaron Parnas, President Biden is the leader America needs in this moment. Grateful he is in office. Now, how is that possible that 3 tweets exactly come out all at the same time? Well, I've got even more news for you because it wasn't 3. Dr. Philip Oliver Holtz, President Biden's address, blah, 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 blah. Biden is the leader America and the world needs right now, and I'm incredibly thankful. Aaron Parnas again does another one. It says, Biden is the leader America the world needs yet again.
I'm just curious, how do they get that information out to every single one where they all say the same thing?
We're not done because I got another one by Tom Love who says, and Carrie, Biden is the leader America and the world needs right now, and I'm incredibly thankful for him. Keep America great. Okay. And if you think I'm done,
get on the email list from these guys. Apparently
I'll tell you how it is. And here's our favorite little bitch resident, Harry Sasson, this little prepubescent twat waffle who basically is essentially the Nick Fuentes of the left, right? He's just a little progressive dickhead. So instead of being a neo-Nazi, he's just like ultra progressive communist socialist douche plow who wants to take everybody's guns. Biden is the leader America and the world needs right now. I'll tell you why. You're asking me, how does that happen? There is a network of about 55 to 60 operatives who work for the DNC. They're George Soros funded. They are paid a salary to all get on an email. And this goes out to senators. This goes out to people who donate a lot of money to the DNC. But these are people who ultimately shill for the DNC. Now, I'm not saying Republicans don't share talking points. Absolutely, politicians do. But trust me when I say this, that there is no conservative RNC movement that shares talking points to content creators available. I wish there were, because I would make a killing doing it and I would have no problem selling my soul to make a shit ton of money. But these guys, Harry Sasson, the Krasenstein brothers, Brooklyn.
Actually, when you say their name, you have to say it like he says it.
Krasenstein brothers.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
The boat was gently rocking
That's
back
right.
and forth.
Please never do that again.
Back. This is how he talks, dude. These guys literally are the most like Bueller.
Yeah.
Bueller. I mean, they are the most annoying little shits. But after stealing $500,000 in a Ponzi scheme, and after buying 2 Justin Bieber accounts that had hundreds of thousands of followers on there and renaming them, these guys are shills and they're grifters and they're making a ton of money. Now, I'm not going to sit there and say I'm not making money, but I don't shill for anybody. You can't find. I love when people go, "Oh, you got all your Fox News talking points," dude. I don't bullshit. Like, anyone that says that, you don't watch my show, because most often or not, I'm going against what mass media is saying, and I'm going against what also most conservatives say. I've been fighting the election bullshit for how long? And now people are starting to fight. Finally, they're starting to wake up, and they're not calling it stolen anymore. They're challenging the constitutionality of it. I'm like, yeah, I've been doing that since God was a corporal, you jackasses. So it just comes down to this. Don't trust the media. It's all a narrative. Even the media gets these emails, and they all go out and run it together. And so all that shit you heard was all the same talking points, because that is the narrative. And the truth about this is that Jews are hated. Absolutely hated. And I told you, everyone's letting their mask slip. Watch. Be real careful. The fact that Nick Fuentes is coming back around is because they're emboldened. Like, they're a bunch of little neo-Nazi fascist doucheplows who hate Jews. Of course they're going to come around. And you know what they're doing? They're making bank off of it. And they're out there sourcing. So they come to my site and they try to find 1 or 2 viewers to come on over. Then they go do another site. And then after a while, they get 100, 200 extra viewers a day. That's money. And that's all they're trying to do. Because if you go read the comments, Amy was reading them. Some of them are like, I've been watching Matt for years, but Matt's changed. So I'm going to go listen to Nick Fuentes. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is so guerrilla marketing. You guys are so fucking pathetic. But this is what's happening. How do we combat it? Like, if we're going to go do a show and we're going to continue to try to grow, how do you see us combating this? Because it's like literally trying to boil the ocean or empty the ocean, Mike. What do you see us doing to focus on how the media doesn't depict the truth and the narrative that they're selling ultimately is some pipe dream?
Honestly, I think you just keep doing what you have already created. Just keep calling them on the bullshit, get the facts as we know it out, and then let people decide is what the media should be is, hey, this is what happened. You guys decide on your own, like whatever that means, or if that's going to change anything for you. But someone's got to be able to call them on their bullshit, and that needs to be a lot more prevalent.
Yeah. I think, Liv, when you now look at something like that and you listen to Fox News, how they're all going after Trump, and you see Dana Perino go to Hillary Clinton, I want to reflect back on that, because a few weeks ago, you were like, what? And when you saw Dana Perino introduce Hillary Clinton as amazing, do you have more skepticism towards that now? Because you're starting to see how full of shit the media is now that you're actually watching this stuff?
I know we talked about that, and I'm a huge Dana Perino fan, so it was cringeworthy to watch it.
Yeah.
But she still looked uncomfortable, and I don't think that she wanted to say it.
Right.
But I think she had to. So, and being that the classy woman that she is, she did it, but I don't necessarily think she wanted to, or that she believes it.
I would hope not. It just makes you wonder, right? It makes you wonder, is this whole thing just for show? Is it all based upon, it's really, dude, okay. The Fourth Estate is responsible for giving us information and to hold the government accountable to their checks and balances. I mean, that's why the Fourth Estate had so much power. And although it wasn't written into the Constitution, but if you look at Hamilton and you look at Madison, they talked about the Fourth Estate and how important it would be to have a successful republic and to have one that wouldn't be taken over by, oligarchs or whatever, people who, an autocracy or an aristocracy or a theocracy or any of the other, singular type forms of government that are used with a head of state like a dictator or a single body that ultimately runs the entire country based upon dollars and value and worth. And the Fourth Estate was there to check it. It was supposed to check if money was coming in and bribery was coming in and there were wrongdoings or the law was being broken. And these guys have unfettered access. Just look what they're doing with the speaker thing. I mean, what a complete fucking joke. Mike, are you a Republican?
I wouldn't say fully Republican. I'm more middle of the road. There's some things that, yes, I'll lean Republican, maybe a couple of things Democrat, something Libertarian. So really just
an amalgamation.
Leave me alone. Protect me, protect the border, do the bare minimum, but allow me to thrive, allow me to figure out what class I want to be in, how hard I want to work, and where I want to get. Otherwise, leave us the hell alone.
And don't tax us to death.
Yeah.
Well, it comes down to this. Is like, I don't feel like I'm being represented by the Republican Party anymore in any way, shape, or form. And for the first time, really, like 2014 was almost it for me with the Tea Party stuff. But I always was like, dude, look at the alternative. It's Obama. No, I can't do this. But right now, I mean, this is such a joke. I want you to look at who the candidate for the Republican Party is. He's on trial, 91 indictments. They're doing whatever they can to make sure that he can never be president again. And then on the other side of the aisle, you have some bumbling, stumbling guy who's linking special forces picks of Delta and putting people at risk and going over to the Middle East. And you know what they did? They all gave him the middle finger. Saudi Arabia canceled, Egypt canceled, Jordan canceled on the president of the United States. Dude, does anyone really understand what that means? Could you imagine anyone from the Middle East canceling on Ronald Reagan? Could you imagine them canceling on Obama? Even the Bushes. Dude, I was baffled to see the level of disrespect that people have for the United States. And now you look at Germany and you look at England and you look at France and the amount of illegal immigration that they've had and all the refugees coming. Their countries are done. I mean, they just had a 200,000 person march in Germany. And I'm just like, that's fucking terrifying. I mean, that's not a peaceful protest. These people are pissed. And you saw Paris just have riots and a little mini revolution, which they do so well. It seems like every 30 years, France has a revolution. But your world traveled, Mike. What do you think? I mean, is it so goes the world, goes the United States? Where it used to be if we got a cold, everyone would get the flu. But is it now that the rest of the world has a cold and we're going to get the flu? Is it ultimately here and we've got this unfettered access with immigration? We're seeing every major city have tens of thousands of people who are Palestinian, who are pissed at Jews, who hate the United States or mad at the United States. And some of them are just want to protect their loved ones and they have nothing to do with Hamas. And they're just good Americans who happen to be Palestinian who are also pissed. Are we at a point of no return? Do you see us going down that road? What do you think?
Well, I think we're definitely at a point of no return because that's what makes America great is the melting pot that we are. You can bring all these different societies to come in. You can learn about the cultures. You can see how other people live, their beliefs, but you have to do that in a respectful way. We are now so polarized that we can't be respectful. It's either you agree with what I say or I hate you. And then obviously what we've seen with Hamas is like, now we're going to come and kill you. So we're so far gone that I don't know what it's going to take to turn around. I have some ideas of what it's going to take, and I pray to God that it doesn't get there. But I think we're getting to the point.
You can be honest. I mean, just point it out. Let's not have frickin', the FBI knock on our door. But
well, no, this is one of those that I can see that. To me, a civil war is not out of the question.
Yeah,
I think there is a chance that we could get to that point. I hope that things turn around well before we get there. But we're so polarized that if people can't come and compromise on, like, okay, yes, there's certain things, certain beliefs that you're not going to be able to compromise on, but let's make as many people as we can happy to do the best for everybody. But the problem is when you allow this melting pot to sway one way to where you're not allowing folks that want to come here, that are going to make things better, that can bring new ideas, and you just keep letting illegals roll in, or all these refugees come in that don't want to be here in the first place. And oh, by the way, all the other countries that around where they live don't want them. That should probably tell you something. So, and that's one thing for Gaza right now is what Arab nation is stepping up to be like, yes, we want you. We will help you. None of them. So that should tell you enough right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's probably one of the, I'm trying to get this, this working here. Let me see if I can do this. See, I got to figure out how to roll this off the old line switching between. That's been true with the Palestinians. I tried to explain that to people, is that there is no Palestine. Palestine was a made up word where two provinces and two sectionals split. There was a really interesting YouTube video that I got to watch. It was about 14 minutes. I'll try to find it when I get Olivia's thoughts here, and I'll try to link it to you guys. Maybe we can watch it, but it's really interesting, and it breaks down the kind of the formation of how Israel came about, how Palestine came about. I mean, it goes, before Christ here, and it's an amazing video.
That would be good to watch, because I had a couple people have asked, why do the Muslims hate the Jews? So that would be a good thing.
Well, there's quite a few reasons why. One of them is because they won't die. That's probably, one of the biggest. So, and they have a very powerful weapon that makes them one-sided nuclear deterrence. And that is, like, from a geopolitical standpoint, Israel having the nuke is paramount. But there's a lot of other things we can talk about. We'll watch the video. Liv, what do you think? I mean, I don't know if there's going to be a full civil. It's not going to be it's not going to be citizens versus the government. I mean, it would have to be at some point that the government would get involved to restore order and peace. But I do believe that it very well could, if we allow this separation between the inner city and the rural areas and the suburbs, and this hatred that's being pushed that somehow black people are the reason why inner cities are horrible, and it's not the situation, and it's not Democrats constantly tearing apart the modern family, especially the modern African American family, with eugenics and food stamps and incentivizing more and more kids and letting them live in these slums and ghettos. I mean, it's ridiculous. But on the other hand, that all white people hate black people and we're systemically racist and homophobic and chauvinist. But what do you see going on? You have a different perspective. Would love to get yours.
Well, the first thing when somebody says civil war, the first thing I think about is the North versus the South, musket to musket. And that's what most people think of when you think of a civil war, because that's the only civil war that we truly studied. I thought that, I know abortion's a big issue, but I didn't think that would get us there. I thought the one issue that would get us on the brink of a civil war would be guns, and if they tried to take them away.
Right.
Because people who support the Second Amendment, it's over my dead body, and they truly believe that. And good luck coming to get them. So, but I don't know if the government would have stepped that far. In my opinion, I would agree with Mike that I think this could spark a civil war, and not the musket to musket and not government versus people, but I think it's going to be Israel supporters and Palestine supporters. And the reason why I think it could go that far is because this is religion, and this is based on people's faith, and people who think that their God is right and they feel that their God is on their side are willing to do whatever they can to, they just believe that. And I think that's why religious wars are so insane, because people, that's why people do insane things in the name of their God. And I think this could be the reason that sparks it. And it's going to be neighbor against neighbor, and it's going to be, city against city. And it's not going to be a civil war that you think of, but I think it could turn deadly. And I think riots could turn deadly. And I think, people could find out where Jewish people live and could go to their homes. That's what I'm thinking
a big concern
is going to happen. And then it's going to spark, because then you're going to have the people who support the Jewish people, who support Israel. They're going to start fighting back in support of the Jewish people. And then you've got the people who support Palestine and who think Hamas is a religious group and not a terrorist group.
Right.
And they're going to go against the people who support the Jewish, because even though I'm not a Jew, I support Israel and I support Jewish people. I know I have friends who are Jewish and I support them. And people who are terrorists and support that don't differentiate between who is actually a Jew and who is not, and is just a supporter.
Well, we heard it on on the show you weren't on, but the Beardson guy, the moment that one of his little, butt buddies said, Matt had his great grandmother was Jewish and fled concentration camps. He immediately, the only thing he didn't do is call me a dirty Jew. I mean, that was his tone, right? He's like, "You're a Jew. Don't you understand how it passes lines and lineage?" So it was a very Aryan type thing. And that was the thing where bloodlines were looked at and your overall history was looked at. And honestly, if you wanted someone eradicated in Germany, this is why 5 million supporters of Jews were killed, is they started rounding up people who weren't Jewish, but looked Jewish or possibly were Jewish or possibly had an impure non-German bloodline. This is how you know these clowns, why I don't engage with them in debate. Mike and I talked about it after the show, and I called him up, and we were just kind of talking about how I was playing this guy for 2 hours, and my entire goal of the conversation was to get him to admit that he was the guy who emailed, because that's how I started it. But the moment I saw him, I knew who he was, and I saw the phone calls come in. And I knew this is the guy who had been stalking me across 4 social media channels. And he was really pissed when I banned him on Rumble. He was, "Fucking pussy, what are you doing? You suck dick in prison, and I'm going to find your wife, and, I'm going to brick in her mouth and all this other shit." I'm like, gosh, dude, what the fuck? So I banned this guy. So when he called in, I knew it was him. So all I tried to do was string him along until I could get him to a point where I could push a few buttons and get him absolutely pissed off. And that's why I constantly muted him. And that's why I constantly just rolled over on him, because I wasn't going to get him to not admit that. I wasn't going to start treating him with a high level of dignity and respect. And I tried various different ways. At one point, I'm even like, "Oh, hey, it sounds like you're calming down now and you want to have a conversation." So I tried to earn his trust throughout the thing. But there's a reason why he would not cut the call short. There's a reason why he wouldn't leave. It's because he lost. And he lost because he didn't have a point. His entire premise was, "I hate Jews." And he wasn't able to say it. And he wasn't able to express himself and just be like, "Yeah, dude, I fucking hate Jews." Instead, he said, "Oh, I don't hate anybody." And that's the Nick Fuentes line. And they're a bunch of pussies. They're non-committal. They won't say, "I hate Jews." They say, "I don't agree with them, and they don't like my God, and they don't let me be a Christian, so therefore I admonish them." But when you ask them, "Hey, do you know any Jews?" They're like, "No." "Have you ever had a Jewish friend?" "No." "Have you ever been to Israel?" "No." Have you had have you spun a dreidel in your life or had potato fucking cakes? I mean, anything? And the answer is always no. And they're coming from a place of ignorance. So do you see guys like that getting involved? Because in my thoughts, Mike, those little group of groypers and Nick Fuentes wannabe Aryan Nation guys, You could have a multifaceted conflict because those guys aren't going to help Palestinians. They're not going to help Jews. They're going to go after both groups because unless you're white, Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, they're not big fans of you. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you see this turning into small series of conflicts and people starting to sectionalize their cities, monitoring who comes in, who is allowed, start seeing signs that say no Jews allowed or no Palestinians allowed? Do you foresee this happening in the United States?
I think there is a realm that we could get there. Personally, like, I don't have any quorum, or like, I don't fear any of those folks because you know they're internet trolls. They're not gonna be able to do this in person. They've never actually been punched in the face for saying something. Everything is on a keyboard. So as soon as you get in front of someone, they're gonna back down, and that's not gonna.
They're gonna cry like little.
Like nothing's gonna happen. What I worry about is folks that are going back to Olivia's point for the religion of, if you're that devout in what you believe for Hamas and taking the radical side of Islam, like those are the folks that would actually keep me up at night because, and God forbid that this actually happens. If it gets to the point to where it's actually a two-way firing range, those are the folks that are going to be the scariest because those are the folks that are not going to back down. They want to meet their God. So no matter what force the government, whoever brings, they're not going to back down to it, and they're going to fight to the last man. And that is the absolute worst case scenario. So all these guys,
that's evil, right? That's evil. I mean, that's 100%. When you're looking evil in the eye. That's the purest evil there is.
But going to your point to where we start resectioning off things, I think we've already, especially on the college campuses, like they've already started it, but at a very small scale. See, I don't think it's going to get to that larger scale, but I mean, crazier things have happened. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. I just don't see it going mainstream.
Well, yeah, you do see it in college. You do see it in a lot of bigger cities. And, you know, there's always been a little bit of sectionalism in the United States, whether we say so or not. The opposite side of the tracks, you know, Chinatown in one area. You go to Denver and there's a very high population of Iranians and Somalians in certain areas. And you know when you're driving through town because all the food is in, you know, Farsi or, you know, whatever. You can't talk, you can't speak it. Then it's Vietnamese and you're like, fuck, you know, do you want to go eat something? Sure, let's go get some dog. I mean, it literally feels like you're in Vietnam in some of these locations because it's nothing but Vietnamese. But you're right. I mean, like I don't imagine it being like the Sochas and the Sharks, you know, or the Sochas and the Greasers, the Jets and the Sharks, where, you know, it's, you know, we're all fucking playing with switchblades. But my point is I think there will be a group of people who are targeted, and then there'll be a group of people who are blamed for that targeting. And then that's when you start seeing reciprocation and you start seeing escalation in conflict. We saw this with Chinese people because of the China virus. And we saw this now with Jews getting absolutely shellacked because of what's going on here. And hate, they were already on a rise as one of the highest hate crime classifications in the United States. And now it's going to get worse. Interesting. I want to show you a picture real quick and that you both can see. And can anyone tell me where this is from? This is going to be an interesting one. You guys are smart. We'll see. Liv, you too.
Yes. I'm watching.
Can you see that picture? This is where I do need to section off the site and be able to, here, I'll just full blow it. There it is. Is anybody? Well, first of all, tell me what you see.
I see what looks to be an
Your
octopus.
version of the Star of David.
Yep, a star.
I see
David.
that, and it looks to be an octopus that's like got a grip on the earth.
Yeah.
That's what I see, but I'm not sure what's dripping off the.
Well, that would be oil because it's an octopus, right?
Yeah.
So it's an oil slick, right? Like a cover up. So to cover their escape. So you can either interpret it as oil, as in money, as in profit, as in, you know, at this time that this cartoon was done, oil was the future and was known because of Industrial Revolution and then leading into modern technology and flight and vehicles and everything else. That oil was going to be the next big thing, or that it's an oil slick that it's coming in and being disguised, and you don't realize that this monstrosity is wrapping its tentacles around the world. Now, there's one thing you guys didn't see in the picture. Look again, and what did you miss? You got everything but one thing.
You got to make it bigger, Mike.
Oh, well, not
My
really.
My eyes are tired and their
Okay.
contacts are blurry. I'm having a hard time to see.
All right, let me see if I can slide this down. There you go. I mean, it's the most obvious thing about this picture.
Is it because it's hitting Iran?
No, that's a really good one. It's blue, and more importantly, it's Israel blue, the octopus. So the light baby blue, surprisingly enough, has been replaced more with the royal blue Israel, but the light baby blue all the way up until the Olympics of whatever the hell the Olympics were for the Munich Games, or was it Zurich?
It was Munich.
But it's Munich. Yeah. Munich. So the colors change from that light blue to a little bit more of a darker blue, and it's just metamorphosized. But that is actually from the Holocaust Museum. And the one thing that Goebbels and the Nazis did is that they would compare Jews to vermin. And you've heard me say it, like when the left calls us maggots. My usual response when somebody does that is, wow, you're really maligning with 1940, 1935 Germany and the Reich, because they would call them vermin and roaches and rodents and rats and maggots. And they would compare them to sinister creatures like octopi or vultures, and more scavengers like rats and things to that. And in these comics, they were tell the group to stop.
It's not the group. I'm talking to somebody about something that I will talk to. Okay. Remember what I did last night? Remember what I purchased?
Oh God, that felt so good when you put your legs behind your head. That was amazing.
No, remember what I purchased? Remember what I purchased last night? I'm talking to the person to see if we can put it on the show. But I have to get permission first.
Yeah, tell them to.
That's who I'm talking.
Tell them
to
right pony up. I mean, they want more sales.
Yes, she is, and she's got to change a few things before we can put.
I see with kids. Just tell her there's a bunch of neo-Nazi fucktards.
Well, we're talking right now. So she's gonna. Everything's gonna be anonymous.
Essentially, it comes down to this. I can say this because this isn't about them. There's one of my daughter's friends is making I Stand With Israel bracelets. And they're amazing. And we ordered 2 of them.
And all the proceeds are going to the IDF.
So I was like, well, we'll sell them for them and we'll pitch it to everybody. And I'm sure people will buy them. We'll put them up on the website. So
that's what I'm talking to her right now.
Okay.
About.
Yeah. Tell her I want 30%. So, but anyway, that photograph and Liv, stay in tune with the show. We can do that later.
Yes.
But that cartoon is, and by the way, they critique the way I talk to you. So,
who did?
Oh, all those guys. Like, you talk to your wife like shit. Just,
They should all just come on the show right now so I can. You know what? They need to come on the show, and Hayden needs to get on the show, and she'll school him.
Hayden will, dude. That would be a.
I told her about what happened. She wants to watch the live part when that came on. I told her about it.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm not going to even go into that. So anyway, that is from the Holocaust and the Holocaust Museum, and this picture. So essentially, that would be considered anti-Semitic. Now, can I just dare I verge off into something else real quick? Because I know we only have about 40 minutes left, but I want to talk about this. Does everyone understand what anti-Semitic means?
It means that you don't like Jewish people, right?
Yeah, that's what everyone think it means, but that's not what it means. The Semites are a group of people, nomadic people. It stands for Shias, Sunnis, Muslims, Arabs, Jews. It doesn't matter. That group of people So when someone says anti-Semitic, it's not just for Jewish, even though that's predominantly what it's used for. But you can call Palestinians anti-Semitic because they hate another group of people based upon what makes them Semites to begin with. And anyone who doesn't believe that believes that there's no such thing as people hating their own race, I got to go to Nick Fuentes, because the last time I checked, Fuentes wasn't from fucking 1940 Germany.
Well, wasn't Hitler half Jewish? Wasn't Hitler half Jewish?
Austrian. And as far as
I thought his father was Jewish.
I have no idea. Well, here's the thing. It just comes down to this. So if you say Palestinians can be anti-Semitic, it's absolutely true. Just because you're a part of a class or a group based upon ethnicity doesn't mean you can't hate your own race. There's people who self-loathe. There's people who hate. That's the way that works. And I'm not going to sit here and argue that point. But someone said when I was talking to those guys that I should have said something like, hey, are you circumcised? And I know where that's leading. Well, because you just performed a Jewish ritual, your parents did, and you got circumcised. But here's the most important part. I wanted to lead him down this, is that when he said he doesn't like Jews, and I was trying to get him to say, I hate Jews, but he won't because he's a coward. But he's like, I don't like Jews. And then remember when he said, Mike, how your devotion should be only to God and a singularity. I was going to get him to be like, say that. And then I was going to say, so you hate God. You hate Jesus. You said you hate the Jews because they think you said Jesus is in hell and he's in his own fecal matter and he's in refuse. But you hate Jesus. You don't like Jesus, even though you said you love Jesus. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I love Jesus. Well, Jesus was a Jew. Of course, we didn't get to that point. Because that
we
would
didn't have enough time to get there.
You know what they would have said? Not that type of Jew. This is a different type of Jew. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the Hasidic Jew. And we're going to talk, if people would just be honest, everyone has hate in their heart. Everybody. And if you have the capacity to love, you have the capacity to hate. And it doesn't mean you embrace it. It doesn't mean that you follow through with it. But there's some groups of people that I'm not too fond of that come from the Middle East. I'm not going to lie. I've got some reasons not to be too fond of those people, but I don't hate them because of the color of their skin. I don't hate them for their religion. In fact, I know many Muslim people. I hate them for how they act and the things that they do. And there's a very big difference between hating someone because they believe something different in you and hating somebody because they have taken friends from you or they've taken lives from you that you cared about for something that those people never had done anything to them. I don't like bullies. I don't like people who do those type of things. Mike, I have a feeling that you're not one of those people either. Is that fair to say?
Oh,
you don't like those type of people? No. Here's the picture I wanted to show you. Is this... Don't laugh. Do we all know who she is? Here's Greta. Greta Thunberg. But do we have a Greta soundbite, Liv?
Yes. Sorry, I can't see the picture. I'm like on a 15-second.
You gotta. I know. Okay, you're gonna make that. You're gonna make me eat that computer thing all night, aren't you?
No, I was just telling you.
All you gotta do is look over to the left and just come over here and look. It's right here. So she
can do that pretty well.
Oh,
How
she can.
dare you? She
How
does
dare you?
it really well.
So, taking a look at this, I want you to see what's in the what's on her shoulder. Does everyone see that?
Is it a little?
Is that angry octopus?
Yeah. Do you see it blown
Yeah,
up?
it's one of those little stuffed animal things that the kids have.
Right, but it's a blue octopus.
Uh-huh.
And she's holding up a sign that says, "I stand with Gaza."
Yeah.
And Palestinians, blah, 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 now. Now, here is the second picture she took after she took it down. Climate justice now. I mean, first of all, these women need to find razors. I'm telling you right now. And showers. It looks like, it basically looks like you could smell Woodstock in this picture. but free Palestine. This Jew stands with Palestine, stand with Gaza. And of course, they've taken out the blue octopus. Now, of course, Greta.
Nope, the blue octopus is there. You
Well,
can
yeah,
barely
but
see
they
it,
cut
but
it.
you can't see
but they
it.
cut it out.
Yeah.
You can't tell anymore. So she deleted it off of her page because everyone came at her and said, "This is this," and she's like, "Well, these little dolls are used for my autism and to keep me kind of grounded, and I flip it back and forth, inside and out, and it's pink, and this was just blue, and it was harmless, but I deleted it, and I went ahead and did that. So here's my thing. First of all, I want to get your thoughts. Olivia, what do you think about the blue octopus, Greta Thunberg, Thrumbone, complete conspiracy that she hates Jews and she's using a Holocaust octopus to send subliminal messages that she's Palestinian supporter and truly hates Jews? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not a huge Greta supporter.
No, you're kidding me.
Not at all.
I don't. The jury in?
I mean, she's definitely a little wacko, and I think she does things that I truly don't think I think she's forced to do a lot of things by her parents. I think her parents have forced a lot of things down her throat when she was young, and I honestly, she doesn't look like she's got a lot of intelligence behind those eyes, so I don't think she understands half of what she says.
That's fair.
And because of that, you just explained the whole blue octopus story, and I'm still like, I don't get it. I'm so confused.
Well, that's because you were screwing around the whole time. And this is a great opportunity for me to chime in and nail Sergeant First Class, because he's like, oh, Olivia's multitasking and Matt can hardly handle one thing. Okay, you know what? First of all,
when it comes to mom stuff, I can multitask, but when I'm focusing on one thing.
First of all, Sergeant, go fuck yourself. No, it's SFC. So yeah, Sergeant First Class. Here's what it comes down to. And I mean, go fuck yourself in the nicest kind of way. Dude, I am multi-switching a board. I'm running all the graphics. I'm running all the videos. I'm making sure that all the sites are running 5x5 and threading the proper way. I've got Mike I'm monitoring with his audio and trying to clean that up. I've got to switch the cameras and the photos. I've also got to monitor and ban people that maybe moderators aren't on other channels. And all that time, I also have to go ahead and facilitate a conversation and keep it moving. So with as much respect as I can, why don't you go ahead and suck, duck, egg, blue, SFC, okay? Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Sergeant First Class. Mike, oh, by the way, Olivia, it's a blue octopus that's in the Holocaust Museum. It's a cartoon that Goebbels and the Nazis used to create and drum up hatred towards the Jewish people by using cartoons to make them look like greedy monsters, villains, and disgusting and vermin.
Honestly, she probably has no idea about the blue octopus thing, and it's probably just an innocent thing. Ethan carries those damn things around the house. He's got a freaking orange and green one that he carries around all.
I know.
I mean, and if it was blue,
Okay, that's fair. All right, fair enough. I certainly want to allow you to go back and multitask because, of course, everybody's coming out for poor old Olivia, who didn't see the show where you literally called a guy every effing word in the book and ripped his face off verbally. Go ahead. What do you think?
Well, for me,
Mike?
it's despicable that the media is using her basically as a puppet, and now she has been given this platform to spew, as Olivia said, a bunch of stuff that she likely doesn't understand, or again, she's getting those talking points of, hey, this is what we need you to say this week. But for me, it's also one of those, why would we give her that platform? It's one of those, if she puts anything out, I guarantee you I'm not looking at it. I don't care. Nothing that she says is going to affect me in any way. So it's just some wasted space. Yeah.
And it's hard for me not to disagree with you on this, because I'm not a big Greta fan, but I will say this: there's two things, and I'm gonna give you both sides of it from what I think. And sorry, I'm not multitasking right now. I guess we have one of the Beardson douche plows in here, so he's what?
Go look at Timothy Joyce's comment.
What is it?
No, it's not. He's cool. He just saw something that popped up I don't know if it's true. That's why I'm saying go read it.
Matt just got this. Iran opened silos. Israel launches nuclear submarines and Egypt moves troops.
I just want you to see if that is something that is.
Iran doesn't have any silos. So first of all, unless you're talking, they don't have silos. Anything that they have is man portable. So it's on track, or it's on regular eight wheels, or it's perma-fixed. But I don't believe they have missile silos, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It was only my AOR for, a long time. Let me find out. Timothy, I appreciate it. You know what? It's good enough. Liv, why don't you multitask some more, since I'm not capable of doing two things at once? And you can find out for us. Can you look up and see if Iran is on? Yeah, I know. Welcome. Hey, you're never letting it go, biatch. I am going to hold that over your head. But do me a favor. How's this for multitasking? I'm going to go ahead and come back to what I was saying. Just see Iran, Egypt, et cetera, missiles, nuclear subs. And I don't even think the Jews have the ability to launch an ICBM vertically from a sub. I don't. You guys, I think this sounds like shit to me. Mikey, do the Jews have the capability of firing an ICBM vertically?
Not unless we gave it to them, and
Biden
didn't put it out all over the world. So
I don't think we gave him. He can't even fucking hold a picture hostage. I don't think we gave him nuclear boomers. I'm sorry. We like Israel, but I don't know if we love Israel. And giving them nuclear submarines, that's just not only saying, can Israel destroy the Middle East, but they can go ahead and just anybody they don't like. It's like, you know what, Russia? Really? Here you go. Merry Christmas. We're going to park some nuclear warheads. That would break a lot of treaties. I don't think they do. But we're going to find out. I'm not making fun of you either, Timothy. There's nothing wrong. Yeah, if you get it off a source, I want to try to confirm it. But right now, immediately, my first reaction is no. It sounds bunk. I believe Egypt's moving forces. I believe Lebanon has had several conflicts. I was going to talk about that there is an Arleigh Burke destroyer class in the Red Sea, like I said it was. And guess who got froggy out of all those countries that I said in the Persian Gulf? Yemen. Go fucking figure. Yemen and the Houthi terrorist groups decide to go ahead and launch some stuff. So we'll talk about that in a second. But I'm going to defend Greta, and then I'm also going to throw her under the bus. I don't believe this woman is capable of gaslighting somebody that well. I mean, my son has those octopi, whatever the fuck it is. And my daughter has them. And I think it's a coincidence. It's not like that cartoon was spread out at a level that other stuff was. So no, I don't believe that. But here's the other thing. When you have clan robes hanging on the back door, when you have Mein Kampf sitting on your shelf, and you have an old dusted out torch that's been snuffed and ready to relight, and then in your garage you have just enough wood to make a giant cross, you might be a KKK member. And if you're going to sit around on a couch and you're going to make Palestinian flags, and you're going to go ahead and say Free Palestine and put blood droplets all over it, and you're going to go ahead and use Palestinian propaganda to show your support for Palestinians, if you happen to have a blue octopus that the Holocaust used, it might be a good idea not to, because people are going to assume that's what you're doing. And everyone's been well within their right to say that I'm full of shit and believe that that's what she did, because you surrounded yourself with that shit and you're spewing anti-Semitic bullshit because you're not with Palestine. Right now, if you stand with Palestine, you stand with Hamas. Just like when 9/11 happened, or just like you would say, I stand with the Japanese. Well, then you stand with what happened with Pearl Harbor. You stand with the kamikaze pilots. You stand with the emperor. You stand with Admiral Yamamoto. That is not a good thing. You shouldn't stand with Palestine right now. You can love your country, you can love your people, but you should say, I condemn Hamas, because it's just like people that said, January 6th, you're making excuses for it. No, the answer should have been, I condemn January 6th, and I don't support January 6th. And as a Republican, I don't identify with people who did. That should have been the statement. But instead, it was the FBI but, or Ray Epps but, or Ashley Babbitt but. Yeah, all those things are important, but it allows you to excuse and not really address the things that you should refrain from not condemning. You should absolutely condemn all that shit. Mike, any other thoughts on this? Olivia, any other thoughts on this? I think I've beaten it to bed.
Yeah, I think we beat the dead horse enough.
You beat the dead octopus.
Beat the dead octopus. By the way, Detroit Red Wings octopus. Quick video. I was going to talk about Biden's $200,000 check. Did everyone hear about this?
No.
Mike?
Yep.
Well, Mike, you're so involved with your singular yep. Yes, Matt,
I am.
For the video. Do you want to talk about it?
Well, do you want to play it first and then we can talk about it, or do you want?
Yeah, I'll play the video. Okay. You know what? I'm trying not to multitask. Thanks a lot, buddy. You outed me. Here it is.
You're never going to
Biden said,
No, I'm not.
Where's the money?
No.
Well, we found some. We're still digging into evidence subpoenaed from bank accounts belonging to Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, and James and Sarah Biden, the brother and sister-in-law of the president. A document that we're releasing today raises new questions about how President Biden personally benefited from his family's shady influence peddling of his last name and their access to him. Bank records obtained by the House Committee on Oversight have revealed a 200...
Real quick. So I looked this up for you real quick. So a silo is a singular covered and retracted ability to hold and contain rockets, intercontinental ballistic missiles, integrated air defense systems. So yes, Iran technically has silos, which means they do exactly what I said and drive sled trucks in and drive 18-wheelers in, and they drive man-portable integrated air defense system and rockets into an underground bunker, which people are calling a silo. But when someone says they're opening and flushing their silos, you know what I'm thinking? War games. Turn the key, sir. Like literally, we're all going to see mushroom clouds and ICBMs, dancing in the night. Iran doesn't have those capabilities. They have storage capabilities that are underground rocket stations, also called silos. They're used to hide their man-portable IADs, and these are the ones that are hard to find. We can find the ones that are fixed. We'll blow all those out of the water. This is why I told you that casualties would be extremely high in Iran, is because they have a hell of a lot of integrated air defense systems that are on vehicles, and they're mobile, and they move them every single day. So is Iran pushing integrated air defense systems close to the Persian Gulf? You're damn skippy they are, I promise you, and I told you they were going to do that. They're going to move their silkworm sites. They're going to move their integrated air defense systems, because that's where an assault's going to take place. And they're going to go ahead, and their entire southern border is going to be covered with IADs. This is a normal procedure. It's a defense procedure. I expect Iran to do it. As far as Egypt's just making sure. You've got the Red Sea that's now having activity. Egypt is directly connected to that. They also have the Persian Gulf above them, to the side of them. They've got the Mediterranean up to the north, and then the Persian Gulf to the east. There's a lot of body of water. And Egypt is saying, okay, you know what? We're kind of going to go ahead and we're going to protect ourselves too. We're going to move forces to the northern side because we don't like everything that's going on, and we know Lebanon is going into Israel. So everybody's getting on ready defense alerts and moving their armies and kind of spinning up at this point in case something fires off. Mike, did you want to add something to that?
Well, and Iran does test launches for their ICBMs all the time, and this would be the perfect chance for them to start testing the waters to see what they can get away with. So
yeah,
just my speculation, some of that, yes, 100% for the defense, but it's also they may do some test launches to see how would we react and what we're going to do, so that way they can further understand our entire playbook.
It's an excellent point. Yeah, I totally missed that, because United States had a nuclear test today. So they were running nuclear tests and nuclear drills. Russia was watching it. I'm not going to change the way I say that country, because I've said that country that way for my whole life. So I can't do it. You notice how he says Iran and I say Iran, and both are right depending upon which time period you start. Okay, here's the video. Maybe multitasking.
This summer, Joe Biden said, where's the money? Well, we found some. We're still digging into evidence subpoenaed from bank accounts belonging to Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, and James and Sarah Biden, the brother and sister-in-law of the president. A document that we're releasing today raises new questions about how President Biden personally benefited from his family's shady influence peddling of his last name and their access to him. Bank records obtained by the House Committee on Oversight have revealed a $200,000 direct payment from James and Sarah Biden to Joe Biden in the form of a personal check. Here's some important context about this check we've obtained in our investigation. In 2018, James Biden received $600,000 in loans from AmeriCorps, a financially distressed and failing rural hospital operator. According to bankruptcy court documents, James Biden received these loans, quote, based upon representations that his last name, Biden, could open doors and that he could obtain a large investment from the Middle East based on his political connections, end quote. On March 1st, 2018, AmeriCorps wired a $200,000 loan into James and Sarah Biden's personal bank account, not their business bank account. And then on the very same day, James Biden wrote a $200,000 check from this same personal bank account to Joe Biden. James Biden wrote this check to Joe Biden as a, quote, loan repayment. AmeriCorps, a distressed company, loaned money to James Biden, who then sent it to Joe Biden. Even if this was a personal loan repayment, it's still troubling that Joe Biden's ability to be paid back by his brother depended on the success of his family's shady financial dealings. Some immediate questions President Biden must answer for the American people. Does he have documents proving he lent such a large sum of money to his brother? And what were the terms of such financial agreement? Did he have similar financial agreements with other family members that led them to make similar large payments to him? And did he know that the same day James Biden wrote him a check for $200,000, James Biden had just received a loan for the exact same amount from business dealings with a company that was in financial distress and failing? The House Oversight Committee will soon announce our next investigative actions and continue to follow the money. The bank records don't end here. There's more to come.
So there's a copy of the check. Everyone can see it. It's over Mike's head right now.
Yeah, the only thing I could think about, about that.
I got to pause.
Okay.
Tim, Joyce, your video just got ghosted. So either it broke national security policy or it broke YouTube regulations or that person pulled it. So I thought I would let you know.
That's the only thing I could find on that was that YouTube video.
Did you put that up or did Joyce put that up?
I think he put that up, but I found it, but I wasn't going to play it because it's connected to my computer.
Yeah, it's now gone. That video's been removed, which there's usually several reasons. Most of those are being that it's not accurate, but I'm not going to make speculation until I see it. Once again, Iranian missile silos are not ICBM launch portals. It's not the same thing. Now, does that mean that they're not in preparation of making those? I'm sure they do. And I'm sure they want to. Their missile program is advanced. I told you about the satellite that they launched up geosynchronously. That scares people. So that's that. SFC, to clean up the mess. You said you push my buttons. No, dude. I do things for ratings sometimes. And I know I can make jokes and I can also look like the victim. Me being a whiny bitch sometimes, it's a good thing. It shows that I'm affable and I can be well-liked sometimes and have a human quality such as a heart and compassion. I like to show that often as I can. It doesn't happen very often, so you should embrace it. Army has never beaten Navy at anything. So I think you guys are trying to focus on the Marines. You guys don't get in the water. The next thing I would say, and the last one, is the GSG-9. You know what GSG-9 is? A counterterrorism unit for Germany. Does that sound familiar to you, Mike?
Not familiar with it, but just that general topic, yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Vicky was asking me, I guess her son is going to go work their counterterrorism unit in Germany, GSG-9. It's GSG space 9, FYI. I know you've been putting it as GSG-9. That's why I was a little kerfuckled when I read it, just to let you know. Is he okay with you sharing stuff like this? I mean, counterterrorism is kind of, you saw Jack Bauer. That's some pretty secure shit. So I don't know. But anyway, congratulations for him. That's a pretty elite unit in Germany. But it is Germany after all. They can't have a military. So really, how good can they be? Go ahead. Who has some thoughts on the $200,000 check heard around the world? Olivia, you said you had something?
No, I was going to tell you about the video, about the whole thing.
What did the video say?
I didn't watch it. It just the same thing that Timothy put in his comment is what the video is titled.
Yeah, I think.
So.
Mike, do you want to talk a little bit about quickly? I had a guy come on and he said your video is full of shit because you said GBUs, and then you said JDAMs, and JDAMs are GBUs, and you're full of shit and you don't know what you're talking about. And you also didn't mention the 250-pound version of the JDAM and the 500-pound or GBU, excuse me. You didn't mention the 500-pounder. Yeah, I didn't mention the 2,500-pounder either, and I didn't mention the mother of all bombs either.
Or the 2,000-pounder.
Right, and I didn't. Well, I did mention the 2,000-pounder. I didn't talk about the Phoenix or the Falnix system. I didn't talk about the Maverick missile. I didn't talk about the Sidewinder. I didn't talk about any of that shit. And the reason why is because none of those things had anything to do or any of the profiles of that explosive package. What we saw, I used weapon systems that would be comparable, and a 250-pound bomb is not going to do what you saw in that way. Even if it's an airburst bomb, every one of those vehicles would be gone. This guy's like, well, they could airburst it with a proximity sensor. Yeah, they could, dude. And if my grandmother had balls, she would be my grandfather. You're wrong. 500 people did not die from what we saw. I'm sorry. It's not. If it was that effective, then this war would be over in 5 minutes. That's not the way this works. And yes, I made one comment in that video where I was talking about vertical bombs coming in at a straight up and down, possibly at a 7-8 degree angle. And those are absolutely gravity bombs. But in the shorthand, GBUs are used with a moniker of a number. So if you say GBU, most people in Intel know you're talking about a gravity bomb unit, which is something with no propulsion, just uses its own inertia, straight up, straight down, and you line it up. And those are not used as often as they used to be. GBU is a guided bomb. I understand that. But once again, I didn't start using numbers associated with and breaking it down. I used it by weight and overall size, so I didn't confuse people. So if you're going to challenge me, that's fine. You can say you made a mistake, and I'll admit it, and I did, and I misspoke. I should have been more specific. I apologize. It's hard in a 20-minute video. But what you don't get to do is say, I just listened to you for 20 minutes talk with no notes on weapon systems from multiple countries and connected the dots with not one note, without one cut in the video, and then follow it up with a sentence that says, you don't know what you're talking about. To me, you may have flown Harriers and you're in the Marine Corps, and I respect that. But first of all, Harriers suck, and you guys crash more than you actually successfully landed. And second, the government who taught you how to fly taught me everything about what you dropped. So whatever, measuring dicks is over. Okay, now that we've done that, Mike, anything that you wanted to add to the $200,000 check from Joe Biden or anything else that we just talked about?
I'll comment on that real quick, but I do want to get to that video of the cop before we wrap up. So
we are absolutely going to do that. I promise you we are going to have time for that. We've got 11 minutes and we're going to do it. Okay.
So for the 200, honestly, I don't know why anyone's surprised. Once you get to that level of government, you know they're getting paid off. You know they're getting kickbacks for everything that they're doing. It just, they finally got caught for it. So not surprised at all. I guarantee you that number is going to grow a lot more than 200,000. So, I mean, this is standard. This is how it works.
Yeah. I mean, dude, the guy makes, as president, what, $275,000 a year, 47 years times, let's just go ahead and say $250,000 a year. How much are people saving out of $250,000? Well, I don't know. We made $225,000 for the last 10 years. And I can tell you that we may possibly have put $20,000 in the bank a year, maybe. There's no way. And these guys are all crooked. Olivia, how about you?
Considering how many houses he has.
Yeah, and why are you running it through a shell company? Like, if it's a payback alone, why are you running it through one of the shell companies? That doesn't make much sense, does it? Is he crooked, Mike? I mean, are you 100% convinced that this guy's crooked?
Oh, 100%. And I guarantee you, if you take probably 50 of the top politicians that have been there over 10 years, show me one of them that isn't corrupt in some way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Bernie Sanders, he only has 3 houses. I mean, he's a really thrifty socialist, so he's doing a good job. Real quick thing, then we'll see the video. What did you think of the guy saying, hey, can you give us a society that you think is, runs very well with big government, and he said Russia. Did you not want to piss yourself when he said? I mean, I was just like, bro, are you
that
kidding?
just shows the ignorance of so many people. We're like, you know what? Get out, travel, experience some of these other places. Why? Because there's some of the stuff that you think you want that you really don't. So go to Russia for a week and see how you do.
Holy shit! We would have my mom. Is that she was next to a place called the Wharf, and the Wharf sold Levi's, and it was like an outlet before there were outlets, and they would have the button off, or the zipper would be slightly whatever, one leg would be an inch longer than the other, or whatever it was, but they would sell Levi's. And she was right next to the Wharf, and they didn't have online back then. So we would call her, and before we would go into port to Severomorsk or Petropavlovsk or Vladivostok, we would tell all the sailors to get their money together, and I'd put it in the Navy exchange, and I'd call my mom, and I'd wire her money, and I'd say, Mom, buy me 50 pairs of Levi's in various sizes for men and women. And she'd go over the Wharf and do that. And dude, we would live a week on that shit. And I'm talking vodka, pierogies, and snow, and Dr. Zhivago if we wanted. And, you know, we would live like kings on trading one pair of Levi's for money. Russia is not a prosperous nation. They're not a rich nation. They have an ungodly military budget that they cannot afford, and they continue. They're put together by razor blades and rust. And Mel, who's on right now, she works Intel. You'll get to know her. She's retired intelligence and Canadian naval intelligence, and she knows just as well as I do about Russia, and that it's not a prosperous nation. And if you want to look through their 100 years of history, and then the guy's like, yeah, but you know what? Who the Bolsheviks were? They were Jews. And I'm like, dude, I can only get so many conspiracy theories in this show at once. So anyway, here's the video Mike and I wanted to show you. Mike, do you want to set this up? Because you got to see it, and I feel that you'd be a good guy to kind of walk us through it.
So I think for this one, there's kind of two sides of it. One of it's going to be the personal struggle that you're going to see that's boiling over to where someone gets to that point to where they want to end up taking their life. The other part of it is going to be the first responders that have to deal with it and put themselves at risk, but also emotionally deal with that. So I'll just leave it at that and we'll watch it.
Okay, here it is. Merry Christmas. Get the feelers out, folks, because I think this is probably one of the most moving videos, and I got teary-eyed. And if Mike got teary-eyed, well then, you know, here it is.
Please listen to my voice. I love you, brother. I care for you, brother. You have my shoulder, brother. You know my shoulder, brother. I promise you, you're my friend. I promise you that we're gonna be fighting together. I promise you that I will give you the services that you need. I love you, brother. I love you, brother. Just listen to my voice, brother. I love you, brother. You got this, brother. All in this. Life is beautiful. Life is beautiful, brother. The sun is beautiful, brother. The sun is beautiful. Life is beautiful. You're beautiful, man, brother. Please don't give up on me, brother. Life is beautiful, brother. You're beautiful, brother. Life is beautiful, brother. Just listen to my voice, brother.
Oh, shit.
Did they actually get him before he jumped?
Yeah, they got him.
Yep.
Okay.
And Mike, I'm going to let you go on this one. Yeah, I think this one's really important. You go. Just, it's yours. Take it.
So, yeah, so the two things for this, like one, if you're hurting or you get to a place that you're hurting that bad, ask for help. Because I know in my situation, like I had to get pushed And I'm very thankful for the people who did that. But if you're truly struggling, find someone. Find someone that you're comfortable with talking to and let it out so you don't get in this situation. The other side of this is the first responders. I don't care if it's police, EMS, nurses, doctors, your school teachers. Those are going to be the people that have to be put in the situations to help these people. And some of them are going to have to risk their lives. And there's an emotional toll that's going to take on them. So I guess my whole thing for this is, if you see someone you think might be hurting, just say hello. Just ask them how they're doing. Just send a little bit of love out there.
Roger that. Liv, go ahead.
I'll let you take this.
You're off, Mike. You're off camera for a second.
Okay.
I'll tell you a story that I didn't share with you the other day, and people know why I had to stop providing the VCL phone number because I kept getting copyright hits, and I'm working with VCL to bring it back. It's ridiculous that I can't use it. So I'm trying, but everyone knows for 1,000 episodes, I put Veteran Crisis Hotline up, and I want to get it back, but it's really hard. I still do it at the end of the live shows because I don't care if they hit me on this, but the recorded shows I can't. I've helped countless vets on this show and had that talk, and I needed to have that talk in my life. And when I watch that video, it brings back memories of people who I love and we lost. It brings me back to memories of people who I still want to help. And it brings me back to memories of even Mike, and he doesn't know this. And I told him this yesterday because I didn't want to get into a relationship with him without telling him this. Is that his wife came to me when he was deployed, and we had seen each other in the restaurant, but it was always, hey, you know, military, just military guys. What's up? That's it. But I told you there was a level of respect that I had for him. And I will be honest with you. And this is just, I don't know how to be any other honest, is that Mike was going to be on this show, whether he knew it or not. And the moment I first saw him, I said, I'm going to get that fucking guy on my show. And he's not only going to just be on the show once, he's going to stay on the show. Because what I saw in him, I felt that he needed this. He needed something like this. He needed to be able to communicate like this. He needed to talk like this. He needed to have something that he could share on a platform. So when somebody says you got 100 viewers, like, I don't fucking care. The only ones that really matter to me, the ones who know they do, and the people who are on this screen with me. And if this helps him battle, great. And if it helps him get some of this stuff out, great. And because I've used this for therapy. This helped me get closer to God. I was able to talk about the violations that I had as a child. I've been able to talk about my service and the damage done to my body and my struggle with the opioids. I've been able to talk about getting arrested and what Olivia and I went through with our kids. This show has been my therapy for so long, and it is a fantastic outlet for me, and I love it, and I will continue to do it until the day I die. I will never stop doing this. But I wanted Mike to know yesterday, and I asked him straight up, are you okay? What can I do? What I wanted him to understand is that his wife came to me and said, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. And I said, let me help you. Because remember the story I told you is you got the guy in the hole and he can't get out. He's stuck. And, you know, the drill sergeant walks by and he goes, you have a shovel. You don't need help. You have all the tools you need to get out of there. Dig yourself out. Steph, walks away. And then an officer comes by. And he says, you've been instructed, you've been trained, you know what to do. You get out of that hole. All you got to do is go ahead and apply yourself. You know you have the right things. Then a doctor walks by the next day and he's like, hey man, I'm in this hole, help me out. The doctor throws down some pills and says, take these. These will make you feel better. And just take all these and don't stop taking them and everything will work itself out.
You know, and then a psychiatrist walks by and he says, listen, I understand you're in that hole. We can talk about it. Tell me why you're there. Let's get you out here. Let's get you patched up and get you back in the field. And then a reverend walks by, a pastor, and he says, hey, I need help. Father, please, you know, I'm in this hole. I can't get out. I don't know what to do. I'm struggling. He says, you need to pray. And so he prays and he gets on his hands and knees and he humbles himself before God and becomes a penitent man, and it rains and the hole fills up and it gets up to his chest, and then it gets up into his shoulders, and then it's up to his chin, and then it's just pushing on the bottom of his nose, and he doesn't know what to do, and he knows he's going to die, and he's done everything that's been asked. Next morning, the waters recede, and he's sitting there, and one of his buddies in boot walks by, and he's like, brother, help me. I'm in this hole. I don't know how to get out. And his buddy jumps in the hole with him. And he looks at him and goes, man, what the fuck are you doing? Now you're stuck down here with me. And his answer is, that's okay. I've been here before and I know the way out. So this video constantly reminded me as I watched it 20 times today, that all of us are on different journeys and all of us have been in different places. And although we may joke and we may get pissed at each other, if there are people out there who feel that they need to talk or they feel that they're in a place where they're going to take their life, I've been there. Mike's been there. Olivia saw me go through it. She's been there herself. Yeah. So I'm going to turn it over to Liv, let her talk, and then we'll wrap this up.
No, you can.
Are you good?
Yep.
Are you sure? Okay. Mike, you good to come back on? You all right?
Yep, I'm good. See, back to my one word answers.
This show will, dude, we do this often. We explore things that are, I don't know. It was one of the most beautiful videos I've ever seen in my life. And that man, you know, when every thought in your head is to jump, but every time he said jump, he heard brother, son, beautiful. And that's what you need to do. You bombard people with the reasons to continue, and you don't let them alone with their thoughts. And it's so hard because the one thing, and Mike will probably tell you, is you want to push people away. And whenever I was talking to his wife and telling her, this is what he's going to do. And when he does this, don't allow him to do that. Do not let him control this. In fact, hang up on him and don't call him for 3 days, because he's not in that position yet. He's not there. He just doesn't know how to come home, and he's deployed, and that's his home. You know, I'm not speaking for you, Mike. And we just worked through it. And then she came to me and she's like, oh my God, he's coming home. He's coming home. And I fucking bawled. I bawled. And I don't even know the fucking guy. But to know that he is going to change his life and get out of that fucking hellhole of doing things that make us unclean and make us hate ourselves. No matter how much good you do, you got to do 100 things good, and they don't come all around that often. So I love you, brother, and I appreciate you on the show. And I knew once you got out, we were going to get you on this show, and I think it's the greatest fucking thing, and I love having you here. So welcome to Don't Unfriend Me. A completely different evening than it was the other morning. Mike, you get last word. We get 1 minute at the end of the show. Everybody gets a minute. I'm going to give it to you first.
All right, thank you. Well, one, thank you for doing that. There's a lot of things that I know that I couldn't say to my wife that you did. So there's a lot of things that you explained and contextualized for her. So that was amazing. So thank you very much. And thank you to my wife that she saved me. That there's no doubt.
Yeah.
But again, it's just one of those, seeing that video, that's what stores my faith in humanity, of being able to get out there to someone you don't know, show them that love, and bring them back. And I just hope that we can see more of that with all of this hate and all of this turmoil going on. We need a lot more of that. So even if it's going to someone in the grocery store that you've never seen before, just go say hello, spread a little bit of love, and hopefully we can slowly turn this country around, turn this world around. So that way we can get to a good place that we can all actually prosper We don't have to deal with this shit of people going in and killing babies and raping women. That we can actually love each other, we can respect each other, and we can just live the lives the way that we want it.
Liv, you got to say something, man. You can't let the guys steal the show. I mean, we're sitting here trying to fight it. So, you've embraced it. So do you have anything, or do you just want me to pop smoke?
You can take it. I don't want to say anything right now.
This show's never going to change. It's never going to stop. And, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And it might not be the most popular show. It might be a show where people say, I need something quicker, or I need a faster, whatever. We'll try to accommodate, but I certainly won't apologize for this. I owe you a recorded show. I didn't do one today. I wanted to get the lighting right. Olivia's makeup looked fantastic. I'm sorry she had to ruin it. But everybody looks awesome. I want to cover something that's very interesting, the Hamas tunnels, and done a lot of research on these. I think it's going to be a very important strategic initiative when it comes to Israel going into Palestine. It's predominantly the West Bank, possibly, but more than likely Gaza first. And it's an asymmetric type situation that a lot of people don't understand, of how tunnels can somehow turn a war. Well, Vietnam was fought with them and ultimately cost the United States a loss. And anyone can pretend that we didn't lose Vietnam, but we certainly did. And it wasn't the soldiers that lost it. It was the politicians that wouldn't take the shackles off the military and allow them to do what they needed to do, which was to go across and do their job. But the politics behind it. But anyway, I think this is an interesting breakdown. I want to break down 2021, after the 6-day war, the things that they did to hit these tunnels and eradicate them, the quality of the tunnels, some of them, and what they do and what they don't, and what it could possibly mean for the Israeli army. And I think it's going to be an interesting show. So we will do that on Friday, makeup tomorrow for Friday. Monday, we'll be back with an evening episode. I imagine Leroy will be here. Olivia will be here. Mike, you're welcome every time you want to come over. And then Tuesday morning, we will have the Mike and Matt show. We got to get that all built. And then I've got to get the Spreely TV stuff. So thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Please stop by the site. Mike, I need you to go over to thedumbshow.com and pick out like 5 shirts and a hat or hoodie or whatever, and get you something other than that piece of shit you're wearing.
So true.
Listen, this is amazing. At least this time I don't have horse feed and horse drool all over it. I realize.
Yeah, I'd rather have that. Yeah. I'm just going to be transparent with you. I'd rather have that than the fucking Washington Capitals.
Hold on, let me get it in the frame a little better.
Yeah, congratulations on winning one.
That's all we get is one. We're in DC. That's all we get.
That's true. That's true. You guys can buy one. I've heard Joe Biden is looking to buy a team. He's got the money. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show, the store, whatever. Thanks for everything. Folks, do me a favor. One last thing. Go like, share, and subscribe if you could. If you haven't been to the Facebook site, if you haven't been over to YouTube, if you haven't been to Rumble, we're always looking to grow. You guys know the fight we're trying to fight. It's tough as a conservative channel to grow. We're doing the best we can. So go on over there and give us some follows if you could. Tonight was an amazing night. We still have 160 on. How many do we have on Rumble?
36 right now. I was up in the 40s.
So we had plus 200 because we were at like 165.
Everyone head to YouTube and give us a subscribe. You do not have to stay there. Just go give us a subscribe. We are 277 away from hitting 1,000.
I made my first money on YouTube today, 98
really?
cents.
Woohoo!
All the Nazis that went to and super chatted my show and put it in their soup, I made 98 cents off of that. So all the little Nick Fuentes neo-Nazis got me paid 98 cents.
There's
all right.
20 on YouTube, and that's like normally it's like 11.
Yeah,
12,
and you know they
13,
make jokes, right? They make jokes, but listen, you're running at 700 people. It's better than 20%. You can't complain about that. You know, that's decent numbers. So let me see. If we have 700, so that would be 10. That would be 70.
Yeah, it's
Math
not
in
enough.
public. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm looking at the overall numbers. And when you look at the recorded show, I mean, we get, I don't know, 300 views, 200 views, 150 views. Well, with 700 people, that's bad. Like that's 10%. Now the live shows are completely different. But we're growing. We're drinking milk, folks. We'll see how it works out. We got to go. Let's get Mike home. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. We'll see you guys, like I said, on Monday. Thanks for everything. Thanks for watching. God bless. Good night.
Y'all.
Good night.
Have a good night.